Hi everybody, it's Peter Zalum's Griniflix Adventure 8 and welcome to another video. Today we're shooting with a Nikon D850 with the Nikkor 105mm f1.4 ED nano lens, I think it is. And yeah, so this is the F mount lens. And from my understanding, well, it's one of my favorite lenses on the Nikon range. And I believe it's still a very popular one, even with the f2Z adapter on the Z series of Nikon cameras as well. Hitting the streets with this during the day. What I like about the 105mm Nikkor lens is that even when you shoot completely open 1.4 f-stop 1.4, you get just incredible shots, great contrast, great detail and everything. So I'm going to go hit the streets and take some shots. Let's see what sort of results we can get. If you've been watching my channel for some time, you know I'm a Leica user as well. And I love the Leica M series cameras with a small compact form, including the Q series. This is the Monochrom that I recently did a video on. The Leica Q2 Monochrom. But the M series is the same form factor. What's unusual about the Q2 on the Leica range is that it's autofocus as opposed to manual focus. All the M series cameras and lenses are all manual focus. So the Q2 is a bit of a transition between my Nikon range of cameras, which I do have old manual lenses, but I've got automatic lenses, autofocus lenses like this 105 Nikkor. So the Q2 gives me autofocus as well, and then that sort of encourages me to go back to my Nikon gear and take some shots, and that's why I've pulled out the D850. What I've also found with my camera gear is it's not unusual for me to buy either new or second-hand a camera body, and it's all very exciting getting it at the time, but then you don't necessarily use all the features and you don't know why you're using the features either. And it's only over time that you really start to appreciate the technology that's in the lens or in the body. That's also been true for the D850. I've had this probably for over 5 years now, and every time I take it out I just marvel at what it can do, the type of results I get as well. Just a bit more information as far as the settings I was using. I was using aperture priority mode as far as modes are concerned, which means it's going to choose the shutter speed automatically. I did have auto ISO, but I'd set the lowest ISO to 64. So if it's light permitting, it will choose 64 and then it will go up higher as necessary. But because I was shooting during the day, it would be staying on 64 ISO all the time. I wanted to shoot wide open f1.4 in most cases, and therefore it was choosing insanely fast shutter speeds because we've got a lot of light around the place. The manual shutter speed on this goes right up to 0.008 of a second, so that was able to handle that light condition. If it was any lighter than that, you'd probably have to use an ND filter of some sort. As far as focus was concerned, because I was trying to get some action, it's almost like sort of like some street photography to a certain extent. So I wanted, because I was doing panning and trying to get action in some cases, the focus mode I was using was 3D tracking. And that meant I had to use continuous autofocus as well. The way I've set up the camera is, instead of the shutter release being used both for aperture and for autofocus, I've set it so that it only operates the exposure. If I need to focus, then I just use the back button here, which you can set up on your camera. So that does the focus. Whether just if I do a spot focus, it'd just be once and release. If I'm shooting a moving subject, then I would have my finger on there all the time as it's automatically focusing. And then when I'm ready to take the shot, I just take the shot. I tend not to use the motor drive. I just use single shots. So I know when I want to capture the action, I just take the shot. There is no delay as far as an electronic viewfinder is concerned, because it's an optical viewfinder and the mirror is obviously moving. So what I found is that I've been able to pan, take the shot and pretty much get what I anticipated. So my expectations are high in this photo shoot, just hitting the roads around the Bondi Beach area of Sydney, and let's see what sort of shots I can get. The D850 is outstanding. It does the tracking really well in 3D. I would say it's not as good as the Nikon D500, and probably better than the Nikon Z6, I would say, with this lens. Yeah. Anyway, so that's a bit of a summary. It's much heavier than obviously any of my Leica stuff, but having a prime lens as opposed to a zoom lens. That's what I also find, is that I much prefer to sort of go out with a prime lens and just limit the choices that I have in focal length. So I just focus on creativity and the type of shot that I want to get with that prime lens. Even with the zoom lenses, I tend to sort of just use the extremes. Like the 24-70, I'd either be shooting at 24 or I'd be shooting at 70. I don't necessarily go in between. If I want to go out with a 35 or a 50, I just grab a 35 or 50 prime lens. So if I was a zoom person or a prime lens person, I would definitely say I'm a prime lens person. I will include a survey in the community tab on YouTube, my YouTube channel, and there'll be a question there. Are you a prime lens person or a zoom lens person? You can answer you can reply in this video in comments, or you can just go to the community tab and then do the survey. It'll be interesting to see how many people are which prime or zoom. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it, then give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. There's also a new feature on YouTube videos, and that's a super thanks. You can give a super thanks, and that's where you can donate a little bit of money to the channel, help support creating content. If that's what you'd like to do, I'd really appreciate that as well. If it's the first time to my channel, then do press subscribe and press notifications, or press the bell so you can be notified when the next video is out. Really appreciate you joining me on this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.